Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror film, VOCES. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. A father named Daniel removes the ball out of the pool and throws it back inside the gate. Inside, his son, Eric, is being checked by a psychiatrist because he is suffering from insomnia. She asks him why he cannot sleep at night. He replies that voices keep bothering him. He then reveals it is telling him to draw images. He hears the voices during that moment, but he refuses to share them with her. She proceeds to observe him and thinks he is just imaginative, which explains the voice he keeps hearing. The psychiatrist comes out and reveals her findings to his parents. She tells them that the insomnia is caused by the instability of Eric's surroundings. Apparently, the couple work as house renovators, so they always move every time he has a new project. It turns out they just newly moved into that house where they presently live. After that, the psychiatrist drives back to her home. That time, Eric hears static voices from his walkie-talkie. It tells him to draw an image of a tree, and its big sharp branch has blood dripping from it. Meanwhile, a big fly enters the ear of the psychiatrist, who is still driving. In a few moments, she hears voices whispering something. Her eyes slowly turn red, and she accelerates her car. The car crashes into the tree, and its big branch pierces her face. She tries to gasp for breath, but she still dies. The fly comes out of her ear, and blood drops from it. Back at the house, Daniel notices a fly infestation on the wooden wall. Apparently, the house is already too old. Inside, Eric is taking a bath when a voice tells him that his father hates him. Later, Daniel sees on the TV an expert who is talking about supernatural voices. The wife shares her worries about their son with Daniel. He then says he will try to spend more time with Eric. In their sleep, Daniel wakes up from the sound of the clanking gate. He comes to close it and hears Eric talking to the walkie-talkie. Eric pleads to let the voices let him sleep. In his room, Eric sees a rotten foot behind the curtain. Out of fear, he immediately hides under his blanket. In a few moments, a hand grabs him, which turns out to be Daniel. He gets shocked by Daniel, so he fights back against him. His wife arrives and calms him down. Daniel's hand gets injured from the broken picture frame. The following day, Eric gets expelled from his new school after he bit the principal. The wife says the psychiatrist will visit him daily. However, he utters that the psychiatrist is already dead. Later, Daniel and his wife learn that the psychiatrist is really already dead, but Daniel speculates that Eric must have heard it from his classmates. After that, Daniel asks his son if he was talking to someone on the walkie-talkie last night. Eric says he has been talking to Daniel since he hears his voice. That night, Eric is drawing another image with the instruction of the creepy voice. Just then, an eerie figure appears behind the curtain. At midnight, Daniel wakes up from the sound of the gate clanking. He gets a gun, thinking that there might be an intruder. He finds Eric's clothes, which immediately makes him worried. He comes to the pool, only to find Eric already drowned to death. He tries to revive him, but to no avail. The couple grieve for their son's death. Eventually, the wife decides to leave the house for a while, but Daniel wants to finish renovating the house immediately. Before leaving, the wife notices a drop of blood on Daniel's pillow. They then get into a little argument because of his decision to stay at the house. Just then, she bids goodbye to Daniel and leaves the house. At night, Daniel tearfully watches the footage of his family when they move into the house. He then sends a voice message to his wife, apologizing to her for their argument earlier. The following day, Daniel wakes up from a call from his wife. She tells him that the voice message he sent last night only contains voices and screams, so she gets worried about him. He tells her that it might be because of the weak signal. After that, he listens again to the voice message to make a further check. To his surprise, he hears Eric asking for his help. He then checks the waveform of the voice message to confirm it. He gets startled after he hears Eric's voice, despite having a flat waveform. He thinks that it might be something supernatural. So he visits the expert, who wrote books about supernatural voices. He convinces the expert to check his voice recording. The expert appears to be hesitant, but he eventually gets interested, since it might be rare evidence that supernatural voices are real. The following day, the expert and his daughter pay a visit to the house to verify the voice message. The expert says that Eric might be in an unpleasant afterlife place, asking for help. Daniel replies he is willing to help Eric whatever it takes. Daniel reveals that Eric knows how to swim, so it is strange that he drowned in the pool. Inside the house, the daughter sets up the thermal imaging camera inside Eric's room. It detects a figure behind her, but there's no one behind her physically. After that, the expert begins detecting the voices around the house. Meanwhile, his daughter is checking the thermal images and sound waveforms around him. His daughter sees in the thermal imaging camera There is a figure sitting in Eric's bed. Thinking that it is Daniel, she wants him to leave, but the expert sees Daniel is outside. So his daughter checks the normal camera, confirming there is really no one sitting in the bed. The expert comes to Eric's room. There, he detects weird noises. He turns up the volume and hears a high-pitched scream. Later, the three check the thermal imaging camera. They see the mysterious figure right in front of the expert when he comes into Eric's room, but the expert did not see anyone there earlier. He says that it is a paranormal phenomenon, but his daughter refuses to believe it. She says it is just merely a thermal silhouette. That night, the expert wakes up from his sleep. He begins hearing the voice of his dead wife, prompting him to follow it. He sees a vision of his dead wife waiting for him in the kitchen. The dead wife tells him to cut his wrist so they can be together in the afterlife. The dead wife begins cutting his wrist, and it slowly bleeds. Right then, his daughter arrives, waking him up from his hallucination. Meanwhile, the wife receives a call. She answers it and hears her son's voice asking for help. Eric's voice tells her that the expert wants to hurt him, and he's hiding under his bed. The following day, the daughter finds cats hanging in the tree. Weirdly enough, the helpless cats are all dead. Daniel buries them. He asks the expert what it could mean. The expert replies he will try to figure it out. The expert says to him that the voice in the recording might not come from his son. Meanwhile, the daughter goes to the pharmacy to buy medicine. A nun suddenly calls her and reveals to her that a witch resides inside the old house. Back at the house, the wife arrives to check her son under the bed. But upon checking it, there is no one. She then tearfully walks out in disappointment, but she suddenly sees her son appear, playing with his toy. She tries to go near him, but he crawls back under the bed. She then checks under the bed, but Eric is gone. She now only sees a rotten foot. She immediately crawls back in fear, but she touches the rotten foot behind her. The figure instantly holds her face. It turns out that the figure is the witch. Downstairs, the expert reveals to Daniel that the dead cats hanging are a form of threat during the Middle Ages. It is used to warn someone from crossing their territory. The expert's daughter arrives and reveals to them that the witch residing there is warning them. She says the house served as a court during the Middle Ages. This means that there are dozens of women believed to be witches who are tortured there. The expert says that there are women who are falsely accused, but he believes that there must be a real witch among them. Just then, the wife falls from upstairs, hanging dead. Daniel immediately tries to save her, but it's already too late. He just helplessly sobs for the death of his wife. The medical team eventually arrives to take his dead wife to the morgue. Meanwhile, the expert checks the images of torture and figures out where they can find the remains of the burned witch. His daughter tells him that they need to leave the house, but he appears to be obsessed with finding evidence of the paranormal phenomenon. His daughter thinks that he's doing it because of his wife. The expert's wife killed herself, and he believes a paranormal entity caused it. Upstairs, Daniel sees the figure of his family behind the curtain, but upon checking it, they are suddenly gone. The witch attacks him out of nowhere. Meanwhile, the expert and his daughter watch the footage of Daniel's wife's death. She deliberately hangs herself and jumps out of the window. They then see the witch in the thermal imaging camera. It seems that the witch manipulates her into killing herself. Just then, they hear Daniel, so they come to check on him. He's holding a gun, trying to kill the witch. The expert gets the gun and calms him down. The expert reveals to him that they can find the sources of creepy events under the house. Daniel then thinks that it must be hidden behind the infested wall. So Daniel breaks the wall, revealing a hidden old basement. They then check it, and they find different torture machines covered with dust and spider webs. They eventually find the witch's body locked in a cage, while its mouth appears to be broken. The expert holds the body, revealing the witch's past. It turns out she was punished because she used her voice to cast evil. The expert then says that they need to burn the body to defeat the witch. The three go upstairs to get gasoline. The expert gets fuel and heads back to the basement first. His daughter wants to follow him, but he tells her to stay outside for her own safety. The expert hears the witch's voice in the basement. He then gets a vision of how the witch was tortured. The witch screams in fear as someone manually removes her teeth one after the other. Just then, the witch suddenly screams at him, making him fall to the ground. Upstairs, the daughter finds a vision of her dead mother. She becomes tearful, but she knows that it is not her mother. Just then, the vision of her mother disappears. The witch appears around her. In a few moments, the witch slowly approaches her from behind and manages to manipulate her. Meanwhile, Daniel sees his son's ball in the garage. The witch appears in front of him and instantly screams from behind. He then sees the vision of his family standing in front of him. His family tells him that he should be with them, so he embraces the vision of his family. But in reality, he is hugging the smelly witch, allowing it to manipulate him. He begins pouring fuel on himself. Back to the basement, the expert pours fuel into the witch's body. Just then, his manipulated daughter instantly stabs him, using a small blade. She slowly approaches him. In response, he gets a gun and smashes her face. He immediately shoots the witch's body, finally setting it on fire. The witch's curse instantly disappears. His daughter gets back to a normal state. Meanwhile, Daniel is about to set himself on fire, but gets back to a normal state and becomes aware again. The following day, the expert reveals to his daughter the reason behind why he started the investigation of paranormal phenomena. It turns out he believes that there is something dark behind his wife's death. He tells his daughter that she can go on with her own life, or she can join him in another paranormal investigation. The movie ends when Daniel takes a look at his son's drawing. He then learns that the picture depicts the tragic events that happened. It shows the death of the psychiatrist, the wife's death, the cat hanging in the tree, and the expert cutting his own wrist. To his surprise, one of the drawings depicts Daniel killing his son in the pool. At that point, he realizes that the witch is able to manipulate him into killing his son. It is then revealed that the blood on his pillow comes from his ear after the witch's manipulation. Daniel cannot handle the fact he killed his own son, so he ends up shooting himself in the pool. But it's further revealed that Eric draws an image showing Daniel shooting himself. In the end, the expert's daughter rushes to the pool and sees Daniel's bloody body floating. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.